This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so guys, in the last session we covered on classification and regression predictor scenarios, right? And in today's session we'll go with time series forecast, the third predictor scenario. Okay, so that is time series forecast. So guys, when we speak about the time series forecasting, um, see, time series forecast, how do we put this is generally we have three areas in time series forecast. uh, I'll put this way. So generally in regression and time series, guys, the outcome is continuous. It's a number or an integer. We forecast the numbers only in both regression and time series. If we predict anything based on external factors, then it falls into regression. Remember, we predicted the motor insurance based on a lot of factors, right? The vehicle, the employee, customer location code, okay, the monthly premium paid. So based on a lot of things, like your predicted claim amount is influenced by a lot of factors. Okay, if it is external factors kicks in, okay, if your forecasting is happening based on external factor, okay, so then it falls into regression. Then using the historical data, if you are using the historical values to forecast your future numbers, so then it falls into time series forecast. Means if you use your historical sales revenue, just your historical revenue, see the trend of your revenue, whether your revenues are going up or going down, okay, based on that you forecast your future numbers, then it's a time series forecast. Okay, means here signal and outcome both are same. So you, for suppose you use the historical temperatures to forecast your future temperature, it's a time series forecast. But if you are predicting your future temperatures based on some external factors, it falls into regression. That's a one line difference between regression and time series forecast. Okay, so generally time series forecast, you feed the input, it identifies the trend of your data, means whether you're in upward trend, downward trend, or a constant trend. Okay, trend can be only three ways: upward, downward, or constant. Then system will identify the cycles in the data. Cycles, as you know, right? For suppose I take a simple example. Your company is an agrochemical company. So what happens is your numbers will be very weak in Q1. Q2 there will be slight improvement. Q3 will be the biggest quarter because of the monsoon season. Again Q4 there will be a drop. So this is like a cycle. Again it follows the same pattern in next year also. If it is an airline industry, Q1, Q2, Q3 will be flattish, but Q4 there is a huge bump in the revenues. So there will be seasonally weak quarters, seasonally strong quarters, right? So that is what we call it as cycles. So most of the companies are cyclical in nature because they don't really. So 70% of the companies, guys, they don't post uniform results across all quarters. Some quarters will be strong, some quarters will be weak for any company or any industry. Even for IT industry, a lot of people think IT industry is also is constant. Even for IT industry, services companies, Jan to March quarter is very weak quarter because of a lot of bonuses they give, and the number of working days in that quarter are very less due to February and other holidays. Okay, so seasonally that is a weak quarter for IT or industry. They post not poor numbers, low numbers in that quarter. So that is how it works. So generally system will identify the cycles in the data, trend of the data, cycles and patterns in your data, and then there are any fluctuations. Based on that it will generate your outcome. That is how your time series forecast work. So in my case, guys, so what I do is, okay, I'm gonna do a temperature forecast. So very simple. See, this time series forecast is heavily used in planning also. So I'm gonna show you the time series forecast in predictive analytics. Guys, we're gonna use this time series forecast heavily in the planning sessions as well, to forecast our revenues, to forecast our operating expenses, IT expenses, etc., etc. We're gonna make use of this time series forecast heavily in the planning. Planning has a concept called predictive forecasting. It has a concept called predictive forecasting. In that predictive forecasting concept, we're gonna make use of this time series forecast. Okay, but as of now, I'll just cover the time series forecast in a predictive analytics way. I'm gonna revisit this during the planning sessions. Okay, so I'm going with a very simple scenario as of now, but in planning, I'll do a proper planning forecasts. So this is the data I'll use to do a time series forecast. A very simple data set, date and its average temperature. Okay, date and its mean temperature. So I have data for around 10 years data I have, guys. I got around 3,653 records, 10 years data. Maybe 3 leap years in the middle. So that's the reason 10 years data I have. 2 leap years, 3,652 records I have. Right, 365 multiplied by 10, 3650, 2 leap years, 3650. I got around 10 years of historical data. I'm gonna make use this 10 years of historical temperature data to forecast my next 1 year. Okay. So how do we do it? First, step one is same. Time series forecast, the steps are a bit different, guys. First, let's create a data set. Let's create a data set on top of this file. Okay. Same story. I go create a data set. So temperature is a measure, date is a dimension, date dimension, fine. So I save this up. So generally there is one thumb rule in time series forecast is, so your forecasting period should be less than or equal to 25% of your historical time frame. Means you got 10, you got 5 years of, you got 4 years of historical data, guys. Using 4 years, you can forecast only 1 year, 1 year or less than 1 year. So means your forecast period, means your future forecast period should be less than or equal to, ideally, you can go for 2 years, 3 years also with 4 years of historical data, that's fine. But Ideal forecasting period is should be less than or equal to 25% of your historical data time frame. Got 4 years, using 4 years forecast data, using 4 years historical data, forecast only for 1 year. You can forecast for 2 years also, no one is going to stop you, but it will throw out some not errors. You don't get the accuracy if you go for heavy forecasting future time. Okay, so that is how it works. Right, I have the data here. So I have 10 years of historical data using which I can forecast for the next 2.5 years. But I would like to do it for only 1 year. That's fine. So here I go. Let's go. Now create a time series forecast. So I go to the predictive scenarios. Now I'm going to forecast the next one year temperature. I don't have any external factors. So in this case, I'll go for time series forecast. I give my time series train data source guys. So I choose my data source. Edit your column details. Your temperature should be number or an integer, and it should be continuous. Yes. Okay. So get my target. I would like to forecast my temperatures, future temperatures. So my target is temperature. I got only one data emission. So time series forecast, right? As if it is time series forecast, you should mention your data emission. I got only one data emission. So here, number of forecast periods. So here my date is at day level, guys. It is at my date is at day level. Here you see it is at day level. If you forecast for one, that means it will forecast for 1 day. If your date is at month level, if you say forecast period is 1, so it will forecast for 1 month. If your date is at year level, it will forecast for 1 year. If it is 1, but here it is date, so it is at date level. So I would like to forecast for 365 days, 1 year, guys. So I'll just take it as generate the next 365 days forecast. Guys, entity is like a segmentation. Most important thing, entity segment, creating your data into multiple segments. I'll give you a simple example, guys. So generally, you will understand this in the planning. Okay, maybe I'll open the plan. You will understand this. So what exactly is entity? So you will use this time series forecast very heavily in the planning sessions, the predictive forecasting. So here you see on finance plan model, on actual data, I'm doing a forecast on sales. I'm doing a sales forecast. Here you see in entity, I given product and Here entity is region. This is region, country and region. Country, you can consider it as country. So it will generate the sales forecast at country, and here you see entity is region. See, Southeast Europe, Middle East, Pacific. This is product. Okay. It will generate at product and region level. So what happens is, for suppose I taken only product guys. So it will generate the forecast at product level. Okay. For suppose in your data set you got product also. Imagine you got a sales data set guys where you have date, some other details, product and also sales. So if you give product as an entity here, so it will take the historical sales of product X. It will take the data of product X and forecast the sales for product X separately. Then forecast the sales for product Y separately. Forecast the sales for product Z separately. Like that, you got 10 products, it will do 10 forecasts separately. 10 forecasting will done. That is what we call it as segmentation. Segmented forecast is what we call it. Okay, we call this as segmented forecast. Here you see how many forecasts we had. Okay, if you go here, I got around 6 regions and 5 products. So total 30 forecasts it's generated. Here you will see the forecast. So this is the forecast for Northeast and athletic shirts. Same region, select a different product. You see a separate forecast. So for every region and every product, it will generate a forecast. This is what we call it as segmented time series, guys. We call this as segmented time series forecast. Okay. So you have some sales numbers. You want to forecast your future sales numbers, but different regions, guys. Your sales is growing in one region, your sales is declining in another region, your sales is flattish in another region. So you want to do a separate forecasting for different regions. Here in entity, you can give that region column as entity, so it will do a segmented forecast. In my case, I don't have anything to do with segmentation, so I avoid segmentation right now, but in planning, I'll clearly use this entity. Okay. It will generate multiple forecasts and combine them into single value. So in the predictive model, you have training, you see an option called train using all observations. You see an option called train using all observations until last observation. Train using all observations means it will use the all 10 years historical data to forecast your future number. Okay, guys, sometimes in time series forecast, you have too much historical data. If you got too much historical data and you don't want to use the entire historical data to forecast your future number, in this case, we have an option called, instead of all observations, you see an option called window of observations. Okay, so window size, I'll take it as year and say 5 years. So if I say 5 years, it will use the historical 5 years, the most recent 5 years. Means I have data from 2009 to 2018, right? 10 years of historical data. Instead of using 10 years, okay, it will use data from only 2014 to 2018. 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 5 years of historical data. So to forecast my next 1 year data. Okay. So instead of using the entire historical information to forecast your future numbers, it will use only the last 5 years data to forecast your future numbers. I told you, right? So your model should not be overfitting model or underfitting model. In this case, if I take 10 years of historical data, guys, it will become an overfitting model. I have too much of historical data to forecast my 1 year number, which is not the right case. Okay. So if you go with too much historical data, too many factors will come into play and finally impacts your forecasting performance. So that's the reason. If you have too much of historical data, we avoid some part of historical data using this option. You want to exclude anything as influencer? I don't have any column to exclude. I only these 2 columns, so nothing to exclude. So fine. Let's say train and forecast. I use the option now. Let's say train and forecast. It will take some time. Let's wait. 365 forecasts, right? So it will take some time. Time series forecast generally takes more time. You see, um, so generally in time series we have MAP, guys, mean absolute percentage error. Okay, so which is like 19.25%, which is on acceptable range. It's not very good, I can say, guys. If it is less than 10%, it is said to be very, very good. 19% is also an acceptable MAP. Okay, 20% error here and there, that's okay. So you see there is cycles in the data, guys. There are some cycles in the data. For every year it's going up and going down. So obviously the temperatures goes up, goes down. Okay, that's a cycle in the data. And then it forecasted year 2019 also in the same way. You see the okay temperature forecast. You want to see the explanations how forecast was generated. So we see the trend of your data, guys. Your trend is like a flattish to bit upward trend. Your temperatures are slowly rising. A flattish to bit upward trend. This is your trend line. Your red line is a trend line here. So then there are yearly cycles observed. This is the cycles in the data, yearly cycle. Okay, this is an yearly cycle. Okay. So you see the trend of the data cycles. You can see your trend is impacting your forecast by 70%, your cycle 16%, and final residuals means final adjustment 13%. The cycle is impact of cycle, you see. So the temperatures are on an average higher in Jan, Feb, March, okay, April, and they are below the average. They're above the average in these months, and they're below the average in May, June, July, August, September, and October, maybe winter season. Again in November, December, they're a bit above the average. You see the yearly cycle in the data. So fine, I have my forecast ready. So in time series, guys, there is no applying the forecast on current data set. There is no that kind of things here. So we need to save the forecast. In time series, we simply our forecast is generated now. Let's save it up into a data set. Now the forecast will be saved into a new data set. So I save this forecast into a data set now. Save as. Let's save this. So now your time series forecast has been successfully applied, saved. So this is like your date, your temperature, your forecast, error man, and error mix. So generally it do the forecast for this also. So if you come down for 2019, you see for 2019, guys, you don't see the actual temperature. You see only the forecast and error man and error min and error max for that. So means this is your temperature. It can go minimum to this value and maximum to this value. As you remember, we make use of error bars. I told you right when I spoke about error bars. Uh, in the reporting. So I told you, right, this will be used when I do a forecast, because in the forecast you have the number, forecast number, and maximum minimum for that number, error max and error min of that number. Okay, so let's do some kind of a reporting here. Let's build a story on top of this, showcase it to the end users. I'll go to the canvas page, classic design experience. I'll insert a new chat. I'll add a measure, that is forecast. The type of chat I'll use is trend time series chat. Like me rename it as temperature forecast. So I need to give it a dimension here. I'll give all borders 2 pixels. I'll also add few more measures like error max and error min. So it is showing data for the last 1 year. Your temperature, middle one is temperature. Okay, error max, error min, I'll give error max, error min, I'll make it like L. Okay, this is better, right? For the last 1 year, you see the actual forecast temperature, error max and error maximum. If you take the last 3 years, 16, 17, 18, and the last 4 years temperature data, there you see the. If you go for the entire data set of 6 years, 4 years, and also if you say show the data at month level, average on month. Oh, sorry, sir, I cannot do average on month. Okay, so you see your time series forecasting here. Okay, you also want me to show the error bar, right? Let's see. Let's set a new chat. I'll add a measure. It's temperature forecast. Based on date dimension. I'll insert an input control here on date dimension. I go filter by range. I'll take the hierarchy as year, month, and day. I'll go fixed granularity at month from 2019 January to 2019 December. So, okay. Remove the first one. I delete the first one. I want this input control to impact only my LinkedIn access. Impact only this widget. Should not impact my time series forecast. Okay. So if I select any one month only, I'll select 2019 January. So here I go add an error bar here, where in the upper error value I can give error max. I go for dynamic error bar. Lower error value I'll pick error bin. Okay. Upper error value I'll pick error max. Okay. Save where is save your story. Right, that is how you see the values. Okay, at times we forecasted the temperature and we just okay projected in form of a story as well. Right. So I created all the three. You see, guys, a lot of data sets so far. Almost 8 data sets I have. Okay, and we created all the three predictive scenarios, and we built beautiful stories to showcase it to the business users also. So that is it about the time series, guys. Okay, so we covered all the three classification, regression, time series predictive scenarios. Okay, so there is one topic I would like to discuss that is on digital boardroom, which I cannot create, but I would like to give you some aid on the digital boardroom. Okay, some information on digital boardroom. Okay, guys, just give me a moment, please. Just give me a couple of minutes. I have some. I'm sorry.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so now let's quickly start with digital boardroom. Guys, you heard this, right? Digital boardroom. Anyone, have any understanding on digital boardroom? Here you see we have an option called digital boardroom. Okay, so digital boardroom is like a multi-screen touch enabled presentation platform. I repeat, digital boardroom is like a multi-screen touch enabled digital platform, okay, which is majorly used for very high level presentations or meetings, like especially you're doing some CEO or CFO level presentations. Okay, and using a big you're having some boardroom conversations, right? You know, your organizations will have a boardrooms, right? So you want to present in the boardrooms. Okay, you want to do some AGM presentations, right? Every quarter the company will do an AGM presentation to all the board members. Okay, So you want to present something in a very, very high and effective manner. We make use of a digital boardroom. Okay. All right. So generally, this digital boardroom, I repeat this statement once again. So digital boardroom is used especially when you make some presentations to the very, very higher managements like CEOs, CFOs, and you going some with a boardroom meeting. Okay, and you want to present all your company's overview, financial overview, or sales overview, or your logistics overview in a kind of a to all the board members. We can make use of this digital boardroom. Okay, digital boardroom is like a multi-screen. Okay, you can have multiple screens at one go, touch enabled. You can zoom up, zoom down on the touch. If your system is a touch enabled, you can have the touch enabled. Okay, and you can run some analytics on the fly using this digital boardroom. Okay, so in the digital boardroom, guys, we can set up a meeting agenda. We can also set up some kind of a meeting agenda, what we're going to discuss. Okay, for suppose, guys, we have like a 30 minutes meeting, or you got some 1 hour AGM presentation, out of which the first 15 minutes you're gonna do a company's overview, financial overview. Okay, for the first 15 minutes you would like to completely showcase the entire, you're doing some quarter end reviews, guys. Quarter end board review is happening. The company is about to perform paste its P&L results, profit and loss results. So for the first 15 minutes, you would like to talk about the quarter end results, finance overview, P&L overview. Okay. So the next 15 minutes, you would like to talk about some uh, the investments that made from by the company and how much the return they give. Okay, the assets we have and the return on assets. There you would like to do all the all asset related work. So next 30 to 45 minutes, you would like to discuss on the sales. Okay, and last 15 minutes, 45 to 60 minutes, you would like to speak about the logistics, inventory optimization, and everything. Okay, so it's like a 1 year meeting. So you can set up a meeting agenda on the first 15 minutes. Okay, what are you gonna present? You can set up the entire agenda, and okay, this tech talk is means like 4 people gonna speak about this in different ways. So you also write the talk person and everything. You can set up the entire meeting agenda, talk track, everything in this agenda, guys. Here you see we have two types of digital boardrooms. One is agenda based digital boardroom, and second one is dashboard based digital boardroom. In most of the cases, we go for digital agenda based digital boardrooms. Okay, we can set up the meeting agenda in this digital boardroom. Okay, and what story you can generally import the stories, guys, what you want to present. So you got for P&L overview dashboard, guys, you put that in the first 15 minutes. You put your what pages you want to showcase, you will import that into this digital boardroom. Then for assets, so you build you pull that data from asset stories, what pages from the asset story you want to present, from sales what you want to present, from logistics what you want to present. Okay, right. So so that's what you can set up like a meeting agenda, and what pages, what stories you want to present. Okay, will be imported into the digital boardroom. Okay, so guys, in general, we don't design anything in the digital boardrooms. We never, or we don't really design anything in the digital boardroom. We just import from the stories what pages and what dashboards, what widgets we need. We simply import them from the story. We cannot design anything on the fly in the digital boardrooms. Okay, so this is majorly used for, okay, you can see, take content from your stories means we always take the content from the stories and turn it into real and interactive digital boardroom presentation. Okay, you want to learn more about digital boardroom, you can see this. So you see, let's design real and interactive boardroom presentation about a digital boardroom. Choose your digital boardroom, create new, choose agenda or dashboard mode. We always create dashboard agenda mode. Open in edit mode, edit details, copies. Okay, select the stories which you want to choose into the digital boardroom. Okay, so you want these stories, strategic review, risk management planning. So these kind of digital boardrooms you can create and assign. Okay, see, you can create agenda items, then add and combine pages from any story into your topics. So dashboard type is modern exploratory corporate steering presentation. Okay, create free from topics to match your business organization, then add combine pages from any story. Both are same guys, both are much, there is no much difference between agenda and this one. How do you create digital boardroom agendas here? See guys, I don't have an option if I just go. Why I'm running through the documentation is when I say create a new digital boardroom, here you see there is an option, right? I can now I'm creating a new digital boardroom for suppose. I want to go for an agenda based digital boardroom. Okay. Digital boardroom underscore strategy review. I just give. So I don't have an authorization to create a digital boardroom. Okay. Why I don't have an authorization is in general, guys, digital boardroom doesn't come in a standard subscription. Okay. I repeat this statement once again. Digital boardroom never comes in a standard subscription. The organization, even the company, when a company subscribe to SAP Analytics Cloud, it don't get access to digital boardroom, guys. The company needs to spend extra to get digital boardroom. Okay. In a standard SAC subscription, whether it is business intelligence subscription or planning subscription, you get all the features, guys, like stories, data models, everything you will get it in that subscription cost. But if you want a digital boardroom is the only topic or only option which doesn't come in a standard subscription, which you need to purchase separately. This is one option or one feature of SAP Analytics Cloud, which has to be purchased separately, or the organization need to spend extra to get the digital boardroom. So as for guys, I work with a lot of organizations, right? On SAC standpoint, I worked for different companies. We did some lot of freelancing also on SAC. Okay, so I'm saying with my experience, I never seen any digital boardroom so far. There is one organization which purchased digital boardroom. I seen in one out of like 10 or 9 freelancing projects I seen. Okay, one organization had digital boardroom and they also built one or two digital boardrooms. That's it. That too for financial overview and some kind of planning overview. They built one digital boardroom, one or two digital boardrooms. I don't know they are using it also. I really don't think they're using that digital boardroom. Okay, so in most of the organizations, you don't see digital boardroom at all because that comes with extra cost, and companies don't see for boardroom meetings, guys. They always go with PPTs. Okay, they don't. It's not mandatory to you need to use a tool or a product for your boardroom meeting. They always go with their own PPTs. Okay, so it's right. Boardroom meetings are mostly people driven. Okay, not process driven. So the people has their own ways to present. Okay, so that's the reason you don't see much use of digital boardroom in your real world. But unfortunately, if you go to a company which is using digital boardroom, so that I'm just giving you some understanding on a digital board. So guys, understood? uh, so you don't see digital boardroom much common in organizations. Okay, even here also this is a standard subscription product. I don't see digital boardroom. I don't have authorization to create a digital boardroom. Clear guys? Any questions, anyone on digital boardroom? So far I'm not done. Okay, and you don't see it regularly in the organization subscription also. You don't see digital boardroom. That needs to be paid extra, and you don't see companies using DBRs. Okay. DBR in the sense digital boardroom. So I have a blog, guys. Maybe I'll check from this. I have a blog here. A step-by-step guide how to create a digital boardroom. So here you see. So digital boardroom is a tool for executives. Okay, to get some real-time insights, ad hoc questions, like multiple organizations data is collaborated into one place using this digital boardroom. Because you can pull, for suppose guys, you have like HR data in a HR story, guys. You have sales data in a sales story. Okay, and you got inventory and logistics data in a logistics dashboard. Okay, and you got your finance data in a finance story. So what you can do, you can import all these 4 stories into a digital boardroom and select the required pages from all the 4 stories. Okay, so that you can have all the information at one place in a digital boardroom. So you see, how do we create a digital boardroom? First, you log into SAC account. Left side menu, you see the digital boardroom. Click on digital boardroom. We see 2 types: agenda based and dashboard based. Okay, so one is agenda, other one is dashboard. Select based on the requirement. He selected agenda based. Okay, here in the agenda based, you need to select your target, guys. You need to set your topic. Okay, topic, and also you can set your time also, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and also you can set the person also. In the topic, you can set your topic, description of the topic, time, and person. Okay, and then what you can do is you can import. So here you see, right, in the stories there is an option, you see an option highlighted, right, that is import. You can import your stories here. Okay, so generally you cannot import the optimized design stories. You can import only the classic design. But right now even optimized designs are supported, but mostly it supports classic design experience stories only. Okay, one is classic story, another is optimized story. Okay, so you can find only classic story because optimized story does not support the digital boardroom. That's fine. So you select the story. After importing the story, you see that story in the imported tab here, from which you can pick whatever pages you want. Okay, from these imported stories, now we can use our imported stories in digital boardroom. We can drag and drop the stories to boardroom and give the topic titles what you want to present. So like that we can actually, sorry, just a moment. So now you can see we imported our stories into the digital boardroom. We can drop down what pages you want. So you can actually import multiple stories, guys. I told you, right? You got finance, you got sales, you got HR. From multiple stories you can draw. drag, import multiple stories here, and so you can add first topic, you add finance, guys. Here you see a plus symbol, right? You see a plus icon. Add another topic, go for HR. Add third topic, sales. Add fourth topic, logistics, like that. So this is how we build a digital boardroom. We set up the meeting agendas, talk tracks, okay, the person, the time, and everything in the meeting topic, and then you add what you're gonna present in that topic, what stories and what pages of the stories we're gonna present in the topic. Okay, it's very simple, guys. Digital boardroom creation is very simple, very simple, because you're not designing anything new. You don't design anything new in digital boardroom. You import from the stories only. Okay, we don't design anything new in the digital boardroom at all. So means, but multiple stories, multiple information can be collated at one place. Okay, so we combine, means like we collect data from multiple sources, multiple stories, and put it in one single boardroom, which gives the higher level management and understanding on the data. Okay, so generally digital boardrooms targets higher section of management, especially at CEO, CFO levels, especially on quarterly meetings, strategy review meetings. There you can make use of, there we make use of this digital boardrooms. That's it. So once, for suppose your planning is done, you want to present your entire plan to the higher management, the top level planning. So you can make use of a digital boardroom. Okay, especially it is used in AGM level meetings, quarterly meetings, boardrooms. Okay, you come, your boardroom is meeting, board members are meeting, right? So then we make use of a digital boardroom. That's the reason it is given a name of digital boardroom. But it doesn't comes in a standard subscription. Your organization needs to pay extra to get a digital boardroom. Okay, so I don't see this guys used heavily in the in it. So almost 90% of the companies using SAC don't use digital boardroom. But if your organization is using, you can. It's a very simple way of creating a digital boardroom. This is very simple path, guys. Creating DB, right? Makes sense. So if I speak about digital boardroom in SAP Analytics Cloud, so how this digital boardroom looks, I'll tell you. So generally, guys, for suppose you see, okay, it's like a multi-screen, but your organization need to set up these screens, guys. So, and you can showcase different story pages in different things, like finance in one screen, sales in another, okay, sales in another, logistics in another, like that. So this is how you show your digital boardrooms. I don't have an authorization to create it, guys, but I would have created if it's a very simple process, guys. It hardly takes me 10-15 minutes to create a digital boardroom, because I don't build any new widgets here. I just simply, so here you can see from different stories. Okay, from different stories, you can import the pages into one single digital boardroom. That is what it's saying. You want to see the data across LOBs, line of businesses. So there we make use of something I see. Okay. There's one image I would like to show. Right, that's okay. So you can actually combine the data from multiple businesses, from multiple stories into one digital boardroom and present it to the users. So this is how you can see if the user have if the meeting has 5 screens, you can show 5 different pages in one at one go. At one go, you can show everything using this digital boardroom. Okay, clear, right? Makes sense. Any questions here? Anyone on digital boardroom? Is any questions? Okay, so this is the major use case of a digital boardroom, guys. So yeah, if your organization uses it, how do you create? This is an option. So it's very simple of creating a digital boardroom. Okay, so that's it from my end for today. So I covered the end-to-end of guys. So far we covered business intelligence, augmented analytics, predictive analytics, and also some kind of a digital boardroom. Okay, in the next session I'll start with connections. Okay, so I'll go with connections in the next week, where I'll speak about the different types of connections, live modeling, okay, security, how user security works, role management works, life cycle management, how we transport the objects, the sharing options, how we share the objects with the users. So we're going to speak about all these things in the next 1 week. Okay, and after that I'll start with planning. So guys, next couple of updates next week. I'll be a bit on and off. Okay, I got some personal works, so mostly will not be working on Monday. So we'll resume it from Tuesday, uh, and I'll utilize the weekends, guys. Okay, weekends in the sense, see, I tell you, I always mention on the day one itself, Saturday is an optional working day. The call is mine. Okay, so first 2 weeks I accepted, but guys, after some point of time, there are 20-25 people, multiple opinions pour in here about the Saturday session, but we were very clear. We miss out something on weekday, Saturday is always our optional working day. Making it clear once again, the call is mine. Okay, to go with the session or not. So please, okay, uh, just try to be available on Saturdays if you are going with a session. All right, so next week there'll be some on and offs you see from my end, so I'm giving a prayer heads up. So and we'll have our next session on Tuesday. Thank you all, have a great day. Thank you so much.